here today. Another 8 laps for Groups A and D to sort themselves out and keep themselves in contention, especially for the likes of Riley Cranham in this race, who has a lead of the intermediate classification as things stand. Toby Gale will be looking for another top 5 at least here. Particularly other drivers who didn't have good first heats. I'm looking to the 3rd row of the grid. Federico Spadaletti, as an example, will be looking to bounce back, as we've just seen from Quinten van Leeuwen in that first race. Let's take you through the grid then for qualifying heat A versus D in X30 Junior. On pole position, it's Evan Purcell for VDK Racing. Alongside him on the front row of the grid, it's Fusion Motorsports' Riley Cranham. Matteo Mellis from Italy starts on row 2 alongside Toby Gale. Federico Spadaletti is another Italian on this grid, immediately behind Mellis on row 3, and is alongside Devon Hageland there in the 163. Arthur de Donker was 3rd earlier in the first round of heats. Starts this one from row 4. Is joined by Andrea Galimberti. Jacob Backler, really good run so far this weekend for Backler. Starts on the 5th row of the grid. Capitalised on difficult conditions in qualifying yesterday to get up there. Is joined by Tyke Buckley, who will be looking for another repeat of the moves to the field that we saw from the Irishman earlier. Row 6, Benjamin Maniac and Elvis Krasauskas. Row 7, Fiden Papaphilippou and Gilles Herman. Gilles Herman's had a bit of a quiet weekend so far here at Karting Genk. Let's see what he can do. Leonidas Peruzzi and Stig de Rademacher start on the 8th row of the grid. Sam Woolley and Archie Owen are there on row 9. Carolina Redondo and Denis Kozlovsky completes the top 20 for the start of this one. On row 11, it's Ji Xiao Chen and Flavio Cara taking us down to 22nd place. Row 12, Ben Gertz and Jack Doe, who races out of Dubai. And then it'll be 25 karts in this race. Elias Lehman will be on the outside of row 13. That is, of course, because Harrison Mackie does not take the start in this one. The decision taken by Fusion Motorsport to not run Mackie this weekend, the reason being the only way he could have lost the title this weekend is picking up a disqualification across the course of the weekend. And then one of either Buckley or Green having a very strong one on points. And in that regard, because you're not allowed to drop a disqualification in the championship regulations. And looking like we're going to be going round again, not starting the race on this occasion. So there we go, around for another one for the drivers to get a little bit more heat into their tyres, into the brakes, into their materials. It has suddenly become, over the lunch break, a very, very, very warm day. Probably the warmest it's been here so far this weekend. By this time yesterday, we had the rain showers coming in. And it's doing as the weather predicted, which is strange in a way for this part of the world.
It is strange, but it also said to me, I got a notification not long ago saying thunderstorms.
Uh-oh.
So there we go. So love it while it lasts, because it might not stay. But at the moment, yeah, beautiful blue skies. And yeah, that temperature creeping up to 30 degrees at the moment. Right, drivers making their way past the red line. From this point on, no overtaking, as we always say, but their speed is a bit high, but it looks like the rest of the pack has closed in, which is good to see. So revs are up. Everyone is ready to go. Let's see what's going to happen in this one. We saw drama earlier on in the second race. Are we going to get it this time around as they head in towards turn number 1? Purcell on the inside line. Cranham on the outside is going to hold it around the outside, but keep an eye on the inside. Oh, I thought that Matteo Mellis had the lead there, but he settles for 3rd place as the field behind all close in. It's a good start as they exit out of turn number 5 in towards the hairpin of turn 6. This is where you can get easily washed out to dry. Then there is one person off the track there in the background. That looks to me like that could be Denis Kolowski, who's gone off the circuit as they exit out of the rest of the track. Confirmation, there it is. Denis Kolowski there, unfortunately, right to the back of the field.
Yeah, unfortunate moment there, out of turn number 6. Evan Purcell was a bit surprised with the result yesterday. Didn't back himself. I said he wasn't normally as quick in the rain. I'd say what he did get right was the thinking process around how he constructed that qualifying session together. Can he take advantage of this opportunity. Cranham's looking down the inside though and decisively takes the lead away from Evan Purcell there into turn 2. Lovely stuff there from Riley Cranham.
That was a big move as well. That came from quite far back, but it's maybe not going to last too long there because Purcell was right on the scene to take it back. Now he's put himself on the back foot here as he's going to try and go defensive here from Matteo Mellis, but Mellis stays there in third place, doesn't bite on the opportunity, looks again, he nibbles at the opportunity there in towards turn 11, but thinks against it. That's allowing Toby Gale to close in just behind. Action replay here. What happened into the head? That's what happened, and that is why Dennis Kolowski went to the back of the field.
It wasn't on the exit of turn 6. It was on the exit of turn 5. And,
oh dear!
Is that about? That's it. Is that number 40?
No,
I thought for a moment it was Purcell. It's another one of the VDKs.
It's Gilles Herman.
It's Gilles Herman. Gilles Herman. Well, we said he was having a quiet weekend up to now. It's not quiet at all. Well, it is in terms of the power, because he doesn't seem to be at full pace at all. Meanwhile, back at the front, it is good news for the other VDK Racing runner, because Purcell has retaken the lead of the race from Riley Cranham. Matteo Mellis is still there as well. And I tell you what, Devon Hartland is coming into the picture. 4th place there in the 163, one of the wild cards here this weekend. Let's have a look at a replay. This is the move from Purcell, beautifully done, down the inside into turn 6. Nothing Riley Cranham could really do about that. Purcell had a little go at that a lap or so ago. He's definitely strong through that infield part of the circuit. But going on to lap 4, Cranham's down the inside again. Whilst Purcell likes turn 6, Cranham likes turn 2 and repeats the same move that we saw earlier in the race to retake the lead.
Yep, certainly does, and pushes himself along into the pit lane. Comes one just outside the bottom of our commentary box. And there again, all kicking off here as Cranham retakes that lead. Purcell trying to fight back. Not going to happen. And now look at Cranham. He's already opened up a bit of a gap there as well. Mellis just behind. Haglin's there as well. Dodonka, Gale, Peruzzi, all involved in this battle. To the inside and round goes Evan Purcell. He will not like that at all. The pole sitter is out of contention in this qualifying heat. And it all happened because of a side-by-side scuffle.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of an eager one. I think it was Devon Hargeland down the inside there. Matteo Mellis is having a bit of difficulty there. He's now on the curb and has lost a number of positions. We're into the second half of this race. Is off the road there. That's one of the Mick Barrett Racing runners. I think that's Ty Buckley trying to fight his way through. He was able to get back up to 3rd place in the previous race. But he's having a bit more difficulty this time around. Benjamin Maniac's in this group as well. You can see the number 55 there, the red and white Birrell ART. Maniac could have had a top 3 himself in the previous race, but an unfortunate clip of a curb and spinning out on some wet grass, or half spinning out on some wet grass in the previous race, means he's on a bit of a comeback charge. Buckley down the inside of Spartaletti there. That is Ty Buckley back up to 9th place.
Certainly is. I saw there Sid the Regular make a very forcefully saying, "Don't defend, go," to Toby Gale, and he's listened to that, but Sid the Radermaker has said, "I've had enough of sitting behind you, I want to go for the move," but he can't get it done, and he stays behind. Now he's got the likes of Benjamin Maniac right there behind. Maniac, who lost out massively earlier on in the first race, trying to gain those moves and unfortunately dropping backwards. Here is that overtake again. Oh, just misjudged the brakes. Yeah. Completely misjudged the brakes there, and that is such a shame. Yeah,
it's a real shame for Evan Purcell. There's nothing he could have done about that situation. This was close. Whoa, Ty Buckley out on the dirt. Side-by-side moment with Benjamin Maniac. Artur Dodonka has impressed me so far this weekend, Anthony. He's already got a 3rd place on his scorecard from earlier on in the weekend. He's the fastest driver out on circuit, and he's giving Riley Cranham something to think about in this race.
He certainly is. And right now you can see that gap has come down to 0.2 of a second as the slipstream effect. The toe will kick in. Donker not close enough for the attack just yet, stays behind as they go through. You can see that Haglin's just behind as well. He's got the company of Peruzzi and Mellis just behind, but their fastest lap, Donker, is closing in even more. The gap's going to come down to less than 2/10 now in towards turn 7. We have still got a lap to go after this one. So again, these drivers do need to be careful. Cranham will go slightly defensive there in towards turn 11. Well, Dodonka's going to say, go, go. Don't worry about me. A second place will be delightful. I'll stick with it, please. So don't mess around. Don't push me back into the group behind. Just keep going.
Or is it? No, it's the
Oh,
counter.
it's a big send.
It's the big brain counter, but Cranham saw it coming and actually gets the lead back as they go on to the last lap of this one. Cranham's going to defend now. He's not going to listen to the Donker at all in any of this because they've got a 1.8-second gap over Hagelin and everybody else behind. Cranham is going to have to get wise to every trick in the book that Arthur Dodonker's got at this stage of this heat. Sits to the middle of the road through turn number 6. He's now going to get across again to stop any kind of attack down into turn 7. He's done that. Subtle defensive line through the chicane, but there's still going to be more opportunities here for Dodonker to get through.
There certainly will be, and as they head in towards turn 11, they are running out though in towards turn 12, and again he's saying, "Come on, go, go!" But Cranham's not going to listen. You've already thrown that dummy out of the pram. You said you were going to go, but then you actually sent it, and now he's not going to listen. He's going to go defensive all the way here. Understandably, Cranham will exit out of the final corner, and he will take the win in this one. Dodonker still gets a fabulous result of P2. Hagelin finishes in 3rd place ahead of Peruzzi. Then it is Mellis from Maker. Buckley will finish in P7 ahead of Gale. Magnac finishes in P9 ahead of Owen, who rounds out the top 10. But Cranham puts himself in a really strong spot now, a second earlier, now a win. He leads the intermediate classification.
We asked at the start of today, didn't we, mate, whether it would be Riley Cranham to be the driver to step up, with Harrison Mackie sitting this one out to become the lead driver this weekend for Fusion Motorsport. Well, off the basis of those 2 rounds of heats, the answer, obviously an incident between those 2 being looked at by the race officials. There is your provisional result from that last race. Cranham from Dodonker, Hagelin, Peruzzi and Mellis, your top 5.
6th place downwards sees Steve Maker still with a gain of 10 places in that race. We'll have Tyke Buckley finishing behind Toby Gale, Benjamin Maniac, Archie Owen from Elvis Krakowskis. Then it's Shaka Bashler from Federico Soar,